Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, ECRG. Thank you guys for listening. Today I've got another question for you from a viewer or podcast listener. And they wrote in saying, "Hey, ECRG, I am a fourth year medical student graduating in July/August and would love to get into clinical research before residency and also do it while in residency. Please, I would appreciate your advice on how to go about doing this. Thank you." And of course, they leave their contact information. So if you've got a question similar to this individual that you'd like for me to answer, you can email me, eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com, or you can text me in the links in the description. I do have my phone number there. If it's not under this video, it will be under some other videos if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, go listen back to some of my past podcasts, and the number will be in there. So this person is inquiring about how, as a medical student/resident, can they get involved in clinical research. So I'm really glad that you asked this question because this is a unique question and one that is not often asked, but I think more and more people will start asking it as depression rates increase for doctors and people just realizing that, going to med school may not be for them and practicing medicine in that way may not be for them. So how would they go about going into clinical research? So the first thing you asked is about residency. And this is easy. If you go to a research university, so apply for your residency at research universities. Some programs and some universities actually require that you do clinical research. So they'll add on an extra year for you to do clinical research to your residency program. Now, of course, this is good if you're interested in research. So for you, I would definitely look at programs that either require you to do clinical research or definitely help facilitate you doing clinical research. And you'll most likely do clinical research as a sub-investigator. So a sub-investigator is underneath the principal investigator, and they may help take vitals, see patients from time to time, do those type of things, or anything that they're delegated to do on the delegation of authority log. They might look at lab results and sign off on those too. But eventually, after a number of years as a sub-investigator, you'll be able to be a principal investigator. After you move up and go on your own way, after you've graduated residency and you've done a few years of clinical research, you'll be able to become a principal investigator because of your experience as a sub-investigator. So that is probably the easiest way to go about doing clinical research for you, is just go and be a sub-investigator while you're in residency. And then it'll be easy for you to get more studies as a PI and a sub-I in the future because you've already had that clinical research experience. Now, the hard part is being able to do clinical research kind of in between residency. So what I would recommend is for you to check out a position called a medical science liaison. This is a position where you work for a pharma company or a biotech company, and this is not going to be affiliated with a hospital in any way. But look up that position. It's a really, really good position. It's going to be in the private industry, and this is actually what a lot of people do when they are interested in not practicing medicine. This is a great alternative career path for if you have your medical doctor degree, but you do not want to practice medicine. So I would look into that too. I think you can also do research years after you graduate medical school too. A lot of people will do that in between residency. Like if they don't get into the residency they want, they will do research years. So that's always an option too. But if you do want to practice medicine and go into residency, my advice for you would be to just go ahead and apply for programs that do facilitate that and will allow you to do research while you're doing residency, and apply for those. Also, while you're in medical school, you can also do clinical research. But the type of clinical research that you're going to be doing is not going to be is going to be more like data-driven, researching and analyzing data from previous studies that were done and doing meta-analyses and things of that nature. So they're not going to be the actual clinical research where you're seeing patients. Well, it's likely not going to be that type of clinical research where you're seeing patients and doing drug development. So I would just keep that in mind also. But you're on the right path. You're going to have a medical degree, so that will be unique, and you should definitely be able to get into clinical research. And then the last position you need to be made aware of is the medical monitor position, which sites ask questions to. They ask questions to the medical monitor about different patients and inclusion, exclusion criteria. If their numbers aren't right, they can ask the medical monitor if they'll allow them in the study. The medical monitor will look at the protocol and look at the idea behind the protocol and use their best medical judgment to determine if they should be in the study or not. They do a lot of other things too, but that's basically the gist of a medical monitor. That position is also working in the pharmaceutical industry, not necessarily for a hospital, but it's a great role. So there are a number of roles out there for a medical doctor who wants to get involved in clinical research. Those are just a few. And because of your background, I would definitely suggest being a sub-I after you're done with medical school. So if you have a question that you're interested in having me answer, email me eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Where else are you going to get someone in the clinical research field to answer your questions? So go ahead and email me here. Also, guys, if you're interested in having your resume reviewed, you can email me eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com, or any type of interview prep. If you are having a hard time breaking into the clinical research industry, or wanting to change jobs in the clinical research industry, or wanting to just get to the next level in the clinical research industry, I can help you out. Email me eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Take care, guys.